If you're over 65, the foods you're eating every day could be slowly damaging your heart. And the worst part is, most of them are labeled as healthy. What I'm about to show you are 5 of the most dangerous foods for heart health after 60. Foods that increase inflammation, spike blood sugar, and silently raise your risk of heart disease over time. And number 3 on this list is something millions of people drink every single morning thinking it's good for them. Now, if you're watching this, there's a good chance you or someone close to you has started noticing changes. Maybe your energy isn't what it used to be. Maybe your weight is harder to control, or maybe you've been told your cholesterol or blood pressure is creeping up. That's not random. After 60, your body changes, your metabolism slows down, your insulin sensitivity drops, and your body becomes much more vulnerable to inflammation and blood sugar spikes. And the foods that didn't seem like a problem before can suddenly start doing real damage. But here's the good news. Once you know what to avoid and what to replace it with, you can start turning things around surprisingly fast. And by the end of this video, you'll know exactly which foods to cut out immediately and what to eat instead using a simple carnivore and keto-based approach that supports heart health, reduces inflammation, and improves energy levels after 60. Let's start with one of the biggest hidden dangers. The first food you need to stop eating after 65 is vegetable oils. Now, this one surprises a lot of people because vegetable oils like soybean oil, canola oil, and corn oil are often marketed as heart healthy. But the reality is very different. These oils are highly processed, chemically refined, and loaded with omega-6 fatty acids. In small amounts, omega-6 isn't necessarily a problem, but in the amounts most people consume today, it creates chronic inflammation in the body. And inflammation is one of the biggest drivers of heart disease. Over time, these oils can damage the lining of your arteries, contribute to plaque buildup, and increase your risk of cardiovascular issues, especially as you age. So instead of vegetable oils, switch to natural, stable fats. Butter, tallow, and even olive oil in moderation are much better choices. These fats are less processed, more stable under heat, and far less inflammatory. Now, the next one is something many people start their day with: breakfast cereals, even the ones labeled whole grain or heart healthy. Here's the problem. Most cereals are packed with refined carbohydrates and added sugars, and after 60, your body becomes much more sensitive to blood sugar spikes. When you eat cereal, your blood sugar rises quickly, your body releases insulin to bring it down, and over time, this cycle leads to insulin resistance. Insulin resistance is a major contributor to weight gain, fatigue, and heart disease. It's one of the biggest metabolic problems people face as they age. So if you're still eating cereal in the morning, it might be time to rethink that habit. Instead, go with a high-protein, low-carb breakfast. Eggs, bacon, or even leftover meat from the night before can keep your blood sugar stable and give you steady energy throughout the day. Now, this next one is the most dangerous, and it's something millions of people drink thinking it's one of the healthiest choices they can make. Fruit juice, orange juice, apple juice, even fresh squeezed juice. It sounds healthy, right? But here's the reality. Fruit juice is basically liquid sugar. When you remove the fiber from fruit, you're left with concentrated sugar that enters your bloodstream very quickly. This causes a rapid spike in blood sugar and insulin. And over time, those repeated spikes contribute to inflammation, fat storage, and increased risk of heart disease, especially after 60, when your body is less able to handle those spikes efficiently. So even though it's marketed as natural and healthy, fruit juice is one of the worst things you can drink regularly. A much better option is simple: water, black coffee, or sparkling water if you want something with a little more texture. These won't spike your blood sugar, and they support better metabolic health over time. Now, here's one that often gets recommended, even by doctors: low-fat dairy, low-fat milk, low-fat yogurt, fat-free products. The idea behind low-fat dairy was that removing fat would make these foods healthier. But what actually happens is that when the fat is removed, the natural balance of the food is disrupted, and in many cases, sugar's added back in to improve taste. So instead of a balanced food, you end up with something that spikes your blood sugar and leaves you feeling less satisfied. After 60, your body needs stable energy, not constant sugar spikes. So low-fat dairy can actually make things worse, not better. If you tolerate dairy, full-fat versions in moderation are generally a better option, or you can eliminate dairy altogether if you're following a strict carnivore approach. And finally, we have one of the biggest contributors to poor health after 60, refined carbohydrates. Bread, pasta, pastries, crackers, these are everywhere, and they all break down quickly into sugar in your body. Just like cereal and fruit juice, they spike your blood sugar and trigger insulin. Over time, this leads to inflammation, weight gain, and increased risk of heart disease. And as you age, your body becomes less efficient at processing these foods. That's why so many people notice that they gain weight more easily and feel more sluggish when they continue eating the same way they did in their 30s or 40s. So instead of refined carbs, focus on whole, nutrient-dense foods. Meat, eggs, and low-carb options that support stable energy and reduce inflammation. So to quickly recap, if you're over 65, the 5 foods you should avoid are vegetable oils, breakfast cereals, fruit juice, low-fat dairy, and refined carbohydrates. Cutting these out and replacing them with simple whole foods can have a powerful impact on your heart health, energy levels, and overall well-being. And here's the important part. You don't need to do everything perfectly. Even small changes can start to make a difference, but you do need to be aware of what's actually helping you and what's quietly working against you. So if you're over 65, avoiding these foods is one of the fastest ways to reduce inflammation and protect your heart. But here's the part most people miss. It's not just about what you cut out, it's about what you replace it with. And there are a few foods that can actually help reverse inflammation and improve your energy after 60. I broke those down in the next video, and that's the one you should watch right now.